Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am incredibly excited to share this with you because we're tackling a mystery that, honestly, I guarantee almost every single one of us has experienced at some point. Think about that extremely universal, highly relatable moment. You know the one. You're looking at an unopened cardboard box sitting right there on your table, and suddenly you're hit with a sinking wave of buyer's remorse. You are absolutely thrilled when you clicked buy, but now that it's actually here, you just kind of feel empty. So today, we're going to unpack the fascinating psychology of impulse buying, and we're going to explore exactly why we so often shop when we don't actually have a need.
So, I want you to picture this scenario. It's late at night, and you're just casually scrolling through your phone. Suddenly, you see something, and honestly, before you can even really process it, you click Buy Now. And for the next few days, you're waiting with absolute excitement for this package to arrive. But then, the delivery driver drops it off, you bring it inside, and you just stare at the box. You haven't even opened it yet, and you realize you don't even want this thing anymore. That burning desire is completely gone. If you felt this, listen, you are definitely not alone. Millions of people buy things they never actually needed. But why does our brain do this to us? Let's figure it out.
Section 1. The Impulse Buying Problem. Meet Ali, Sarah, and Ahmed.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand the mechanics of what's happening in our minds, let's look at 3 everyday people who fall perfectly into the most common traps of modern consumerism. First up, we have 24-year-old Ali. Now, Ali sees all his favorite influencers wearing these incredibly expensive sneakers. He thinks, everyone has these shoes. If I get them, maybe I'll finally feel confident. But a week later, those shoes are just sitting in the corner, and Ali realizes he feels exactly the same as he did before. Then we have 29-year-old Sarah. Sarah gets caught in that classic loop of watching kitchen gadget videos online. She watches one, then another, and finally she caves and buys an automatic vegetable cutter, truly believing it's going to magically make her cook more. 3 months later, it's still completely untouched in its original box. Finally, we have 20-year-old Ahmed. He opens Instagram and is instantly hit with an ad screaming, "Limited offer, only 3 left." His heart races, he panic buys immediately, and later that immediate regret washes over him as he asks himself, wait, why did I literally just buy this?
Section 2. Buying feelings, not products, the hidden motivations.
And this brilliantly illustrates what connects Ali, Sarah, and Ahmed. It's a profound psychological truth about human behavior. When we shop, we fundamentally misunderstand what we're actually putting into our digital shopping carts. We think we're buying physical, tangible products, right? But massive companies aren't just selling shoes or coffee. Most of the time, we're actually trying to purchase abstract feelings. They're selling you the confidence you hope to feel when you put those sneakers on, just like Ali. They're selling you the promise of productivity, or they're selling you an entire identity wrapped up in a shiny new phone. We are constantly trying to fill emotional needs with physical objects.
Section 3. The dopamine anticipation trap. Why the wait is better than the reward.
Now, there's actually a biological reason we keep falling for this, and it has everything to do with a bizarre reality regarding how our brain processes rewards. It turns out, the absolute peak of your happiness isn't when you actually get the item. It's the exact moment your phone screen lights up and says your order has been confirmed. Your brain generates vastly more dopamine and excitement from the mere expectation of a package arriving than it does from actually holding the item in your hands. But when that package finally lands on your doorstep, that massive wave of anticipation instantly vanishes. The high completely disappears. And because your brain loved that high so much, it immediately starts hunting for the very next purchase to chase that exact same feeling all over again. You see, you aren't addicted to the product, you are addicted to the anticipation.
Section 4. Social pressure and marketing, external triggers.
But of course, it's not just our internal neurochemistry working against us here. We also have to navigate these massive external forces that are constantly driving our behavior. I mean, when we open our phones, we are bombarded. Images of friends posting their new gadgets, influencers on luxury vacations, perfectly decorated rooms, flawless outfits. This endless stream of content quietly and subtly changes our standards. Social media completely replaces that logical, rational question of, do I actually need this, with a purely status-driven question. Will people think I'm successful if I own this? Without even realizing it, we're constantly comparing our complicated, everyday real lives to everyone else's carefully curated highlight reels.
And add to that the fact that businesses deeply understand this human psychology, and they weaponize it using urgency, scarcity, and limited time offers. You've seen it, ads screaming flash sale or only today, or 70% off last chance. So the absolutely crucial point to remember here is this. Businesses use these aggressive tactics not because the physical product is actually disappearing, but because they need to ensure your hesitation disappears. They want you to act on pure emotion, not logic, exactly like our friend Ahmed did.
Section 5. Emotional shopping and stress.
Buying as a coping mechanism.
Let's imagine Ali has a really terrible, stressful day. To cope, he opens up an app, adds 5 random items to his cart, and hits buy. And you know what? For a brief second, he smiles. It works. But 2 days later, when those boxes arrive, the only thing he feels is regret. The harsh truth we all need to confront is that so often we are not shopping because we genuinely need something. We are shopping simply because we're stressed, or we're lonely, or honestly, we're just bored. In these moments, clicking buy becomes a form of emotional relief. It's a coping mechanism, but as we've learned from that dopamine anticipation trap, that relief is incredibly fleeting. It lasts only for a split second, and then we're left with less money, more clutter, and the exact same negative emotions we started with.
Section 6. The 48-hour shopping experiment. Reclaiming your wallet. So, what does this all mean for us? How do we actually break this cycle and reclaim our wallets, not to mention our peace of mind? Well, it's actually a super simple, practical habit. The very next time you feel the urge to buy something, do not buy it immediately. Stop and force yourself to wait exactly 48 hours. During that waiting period, you need to ask yourself these specific questions. First, do I actually need it? Second, will I still genuinely want this next month? And finally, the most important question of all, am I solving a tangible problem or am I just trying to solve an emotion? If you go through this logical checklist and you realize the answer to that last question is emotion, you simply do not press buy. You close the app.
Because when you implement this rule, you really do start to see the world differently. You might walk outside for some fresh air instead of scrolling like Ali. Or you might finally cook with the tools you already own like Sarah. Or you might just put your phone away entirely like Ahmed. The profound moral of this entire explainer is perfectly captured right here. The happiest people aren't the ones who own the most, they're the ones who need the least. True, lasting satisfaction absolutely does not arrive in a cardboard box on your porch. It comes from living intentionally with the life and the tools you already have.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to challenge your habits. Before your very next online purchase, when your finger is hovering right over that checkout button, pause for just a second and ask yourself, am I buying this product or just the feeling I hope it gives me? Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Start paying attention to your carts, and I'll catch you guys next time.